Hello, my name is Ileana Marrero, and I'm going to be going over the sheep heart dissection. So first we have the visceral pericardium, which is the epicardium, and that is the outside of the heart. We then have the base of the heart, which is the apex, right below here. We then move on to the right and left atria. The blood in the right atrium is deoxygenated, and the blood in the left atrium is oxygenated. Then we have the right and left auricles, and what they're used for is that the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood they travel through each of the ventricles. So next we have the right and left ventricles. Then we move on to the interventricular sulcus, and this is like a vein that runs right in front here. And the major blood vessels that are found in the sulcus are the coronary artery, which is also known as a cardiac vein, right along here. Next we have the pulmonary trunk, which is this large area here, middle tube. And the blood in this vessel goes to the lungs where the gas exchange occurs, and it's oxygenated. Then we have the aorta, which is found back here. The blood in this vessel, where it goes, it pumps blood to the heart, to all parts of the body, and it's also oxygenated. So in this region here, you would find the ascending aorta. Within the ascending aorta, you have the aortic arch and its three major vesicles, which could have been trimmed. Just a little bit difficult to see here, but you would have first the brachiocephalic artery. Next, you would have the left common carotid. And lastly, you would have the left subclavian artery. We find in this region over here. Next, we have the superior vena cava, which is this opening right along here, and the inferior vena cava that comes out through here. Next we move on to the posterior side of the heart, and we have the coronary sinus, which would be a vein traveling right along in this end here. And the blood here in these three vessels, they travel to the right atrium of the heart, and these vessels are known as veins. And the blood here that is being carried is deoxygenated. So now we move on to the internal anatomy of the heart. Back here we show the pectinate in the inner wall of the right atrium. Next we have the myocardium, which is this region right here and here. And the myocardium, the reason why it's 3 times thicker than the right ventricle is because the cardiac muscle, specialized tissue, has the ability to contract repeatedly and is resistant to fatigue. So now I'm going to point out the trabeculae carinae on the inner surface of the ventricles, which is this area right here. Next we have, I'm going to be showing the interventricular septum, which are the cuts which were made. And that's found right along here. Next we have, next I'm going to talk about the bicuspid, which is this top area here. And then back here we have the tricuspid. Next we have the chordae tendineae. These are the ends of the fibers right down here. And then we have the cusps of the valves, which are the tricuspid and the bicuspid. Next we have the papillary muscle, which are right down here. And then next we have the pulmonary semilunar valve, which are right up here, as well as the aortic semilunar valve right next to it. Pulmonary and aortic semilunar valves.